You should have received via email the minutes of our November 12th meeting. Do we have any discussion on the November meeting minutes?
No, I make motion that we approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor? All right, Madam Treasurer.
Treasury Management Account, December 10th, 2025. General fund on hand is $337,367.18. Capital Reserve Fund balance on hand, $574,209.31.
Madam Treasurer.
Sorry. I was checking the
Fuel
YouTube.
Fund.
YouTube works.
Liquid Fuel Fund, tax fund is $64,540.48. Fire Company account is $76,436.18, for a total funds of $1,052,553.15. That's it.
That's all except subject to audit. Bills list.
And your prepaid bills total is $50,985.06. And I need you to, what I sent out yesterday, I had a bill missing from our unpaid bills list. Please add on to the one that you have. The total that you had was $1,568.50. Please add Carroll Engineering for $15,148.65. For a new total of $16,717.15.
All right. Do I have a motion to pay the bills?
Motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Any correspondence?
Yes, I did have someone into the office yesterday, I believe. And a kind of a question for council and for Chris. His comment was that he lives at, now I forget the address, Aunt Sue's old house, the corner of Gal and Greeley Avenue. The drain that is there, it is right past the show, so you know where I'm referring to, Chris. He said that
There's one on either side. Do you know which one he
It's-
specifically is talking about?
yes, he backs right up to 1061.
Okay.
Right beside
Okay. Yeah, I
1061.
understand that.
The drain in front of his house is severely clogged.
Okay.
And considering what we've got going on there, I didn't know whether you wanted me to reach out to Granary to see if they could unclog it or.
Yeah, it's
Whether
not a
it's
long
better to
run. I think it only goes across the street in that location, so it should only be about 25 feet.
So,
So
I mean.
that
what is
that's
the
how
council's
the reason what they can do.
Is that township?
That's a municipal.
I'm sorry.
Let's have Granary look at it.
Okay. Okay. That was the question.
If he's unable to do that, then just let me know and we'll reach out with something you can.
Right, okay, okay. And that's all I have.
That leads us to our first.
Oh, excuse me, I do have one more thing.
Go right ahead.
Someone else, someone came in, they were in last week when I was away, but they were in today over another matter. They reported that there was a tree limb at the corner of Wilson and Twining, headed towards Willard, which is in front of 22 Wilson Avenue. It's a corner property. And he felt as though that it was on Pico lines, on power lines. Now I called my contact today because this came in last week when I was away. And Joanne in the office called Granary. They came out and just looked at it and said that it was not power lines, that it was on cable lines. But when the resident came in today and wanted to follow up, I thought it was prudent to call my contact at Pico to have them go out and take a look to verify exactly whose lines it belongs to.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Ted Duran assured me that he would get someone out there to look at it. And I will wait, once I hear from him, if it is in fact cable lines, I know Chief Carey can reach out to like Verizon and Comcast a little easier than I can, has a contact, and we'll try to get it taken care of. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you, Janet. All right, that leads us to our first portion of public comment for the evening. Hello, public. Anybody online there, Tony? All right. All right, leads us to our next item 10, consideration of the 1061 Gully Ave land development application. Please state your name for the record, young man.
I'm just kidding.
So I'm here with Ben Farland, he's from the engineering firm, and we were in front of planning commission. And I'm not sure how you'd like us to go through this. I don't know that if you want me to recap the project, nothing's changed since we've been in front of council before, but I'd gladly explain the building again if you'd like.
Well, we have members of the public here who might not have heard about it. We've got people listening, so I think it'd be best to share as much information as possible.
So, what's proposed is taking the property, the building at 1061 Greeley, and changing the use, we received use variance to turn it into 4 apartment units. With off-street parking, two parking spaces per unit. There will be 2 units downstairs, 2 units upstairs. The units downstairs would have direct access to the exterior. The units upstairs, there'd be a common hallway and a staircase that went up to the second floor. I don't know if you've ever been in that building, but it's pretty unique in terms of the architecture and structure. And our plan would be to keep the majority of that. I mean, we have to modify some things, but the building would be kept intact. What I have a sketch of what it would look like from outside, and the roof line would stay the same. We add a little roof in the middle of the building. So you know where the front door to the upper level would be. We have garage doors and some, added windows, and well, they're not added, they're new windows. We're getting rid of the show green glass, if you will. Most of the dormers on the second floor remain, 2 of which have to get larger to accommodate living space on the second floor, but we tried to keep the historic nature of the building without changing it and, making it functional for this meeting. And we went in front of the planning commission for site plan approval. There's some waivers and a lot of will complies. I don't know how you want us to run through it. We can go through the waivers. There's only really one thing that is kind of up in the air, and that's the landscaping. When we're in front of the planning commission and also the zoning board wanted to make sure that we landscape or buffer the heating and air conditioning units that are going to be outside. We can't put them behind the building because there's only 2 foot of land that they own behind the building, so they're not going to fit. We can't put them on the sides of the building, so they have to go in the front. So we need a waiver from street trees and other landscape requirements, because with the overhead wires, we can't put street trees in because they will be right under the wires. The Bowmans want to landscape it properly, but I think what they'd like to run past the borough is that we wait until we get further along and have the borough engineer, maybe a representative from the borough, their landscaper, and their engineer be out there and determine what would be the appropriate, landscaping. You're not trying to skip one landscaping, but and the engineer will articulate it better than me. There's site triangle issues, so you can't have bushes of a certain height. There's the overhead wire issues. It's for that little piece of ground, it's kind of complicated. I guess the smaller the piece, the tougher it is to fit things in there. So, so that's one of the things that we did kind of up in the air, and we'd like to get boroughs input on that. So having said all that, I'd like to turn it over to Ben and run through the site plan approval.
Okay.
Can I just stop? But did you say that the zoning hearing board had specific conditions related to landscaping or not?
No, they did, they wanted to make sure that somehow screen the HVAC. They didn't specify whether it's a fence.
Okay.
Or landscaping, it might be a combination of the two, so. We're willing to do that, we're just not sure what's the best way and how the borough would like to see it done.
Right, and I know that the planning commission also recommended movement of the HVAC system further to the.
And you'll see we can.
Okay.
Wait, give that to Ben.
Karaoke.
Yes.
Later,
That's not-
later.
Later.
Yeah.
My place is Spanish.
You're good.
That's
That's mainly for the broadcast.
Perfect.
We can hear you, but the
It's all
rest of
good.
the mics can't.
Okay. So I'm Ben Marlin with Holtz Cunningham Engineering, one of the engineers working on this project. Matt summarized the building portion of the plan very well. From a site perspective, the building is an existing building and it's most of the site, frankly. So it's to remain. That's this rectangle here. The current front of the building is just an asphalt area that's curved, it's got sidewalk. We're proposing to make a lot of that grass, so we're reducing the impervious on the site. Adding driveways so that you can access the garages, and then everything else will be grass or ramps to get in for ADA accessibility. As Matt mentioned at the planning commission meeting, they requested to remove the HVAC unit. So previously it was over here where there's about 2 feet between the building and the right of way line. That wasn't the best condition in terms of keeping it out of the right of way. So what we've done is we've moved it out here to the front. We will be screening that with plantings or some way to screen it from the sidewalk. The other HVAC unit is here. As Matt mentioned, one of the waivers that we're seeking are from street trees. There's 2 reasons for that. The primary one is related to overhead utilities, generally plant these other overhead lines. And the secondary reason is there are site triangles for each of these driveways. And for this road here, Wilson, where you don't want to plant trees to hinder those sight lines. So if you have any questions about the letter we received from the engineer or the waivers or anything about the plan, we're happy to help answer those.
Sure. So, hi, Ben. So I do have a question. When we were at the planning commission meeting, the HVAC unit was a big topic because it's a hard problem to solve. When we were messing around with just the sketch that was on the table, we were looking at well, in this, it would be the bottom right corner, and you pointed to the center. So your plan, the current plan is to move that kind of towards the center of the building?
Correct. That's primarily because of this site triangle here.
It's
to keep it out.
That's great, because we were all kind of struggling with that. And I think we said, we're gonna let smarter people than us figure it out. So, okay, that's great. That's consistent with and a better solution than I think we were coming up with in 5 minutes, in our little discussion. Okay, cool.
Is there anything else from the planning meeting? Say you'd like to share? with
There,
us,
there,
council?
there are, a couple of things that I'd like to share. First off, the planning commission did meet on, November 20th. We are recommending to Borough Council that we approve the plan, and especially this little tweak, I think is consistent with some of the questions we had moving forward. Quite frankly, I think it's one of the best possible uses of a building that's currently unoccupied in an eyesore. So, first off, in favor. We did have a couple of things that came up. We did put a note in about road restoration. There's going to be some trenches dug and whatnot, and we want to make sure that we get the road put back the way. And yes, sir.
You can address that.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So we are proposing that on this plan. This is a revised version to show you guys. Where we are proposing road restoration on our half of the road, so that it doesn't disturb the neighbor. Pretty much from the edge of the outermost driveway on each side. That will cover trenches, the curb installation, the aprons for the driveways, and we'll repair the road for
Right.
it.
And the words we were using at the meeting were mill and pave to
Sure.
repair the road. Is
Correct.
we're not digging trenches and cold patching or doing something.
No,
crazy.
not beyond the.
Right.
Waters.
And we're looking at, for lack of a better term, going out about to the center line or wherever. Oh, that was the other question. Did you guys locate that main?
Yeah, we did.
Because we weren't quite sure yet.
It is on on this side of the road.
Okay.
So it runs.
Okay.
Through the area that we would know.
There was a question as to how far out into the street we would have to dig and mill and pave, but it
Okay.
looks like the chips fell in our favor on that one. And the last bit, Mark, were you on this email that I sent out? Yes. The parking for this is intended for 2 vehicles per apartment to be in the garage
Right.
because the sidewalk is so tight. We discussed having some sort of an arrangement in the lease of the apartments that tells the residents they have to do that. The question came up is, how do we enforce them?
The enforcement's gonna be a trick always, even if you have a restrictive covenant on the property. How deep is the driveway? How many cars can the driveway hold?
It'll stack, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So it would, from a practical standpoint,
Without hitting the sign.
it would hold one medium to small car. Pickup truck is hanging over the side. But it also, part of the issue is the sidewalk is within the right of way, so parking would be in the right of way, which I think was frowned upon, plus, a large vehicle hanging over, so,
Right.
from a practical standpoint, if I'm driving the average car, it will fit there, but how do you police it? I mean, it's, the Bowmans have agreed to put it in the lease, I don't know how to police it.
Is there any on-street parking in that area?
There's on-street parking on Wilson, there's on-street parking on
Yeah.
Greeley.
So, I mean, I think you could, and I think you might want your approval, if you're inclined to approve, to have a condition that says, all vehicles must be either in the garage or fully on the driveway or in other, no overhang into the right of way. If you say you have a little mini coupe or something, you can fit in the driveway, assuming you're okay with that. If not, you just say all in the garage, and then I think you enforce it not by looking in the garage, but saying, hey, we got a car in the
Overhang,
driveway
right.
that's hanging over into the right of way.
Right, and we did discuss that, and the planning commission was defaulting to in the garage. It was just in the garage, because that's a whole lot easier than is my bumper, in a place where the right of way is a little fuzzy anyway, because the sidewalk is in the way. It was in the garage.
And what happens when they have guests over for Thanksgiving?
There you go.
don't listen to the thing.
Well, that's just it. There needs to be an enforcement somehow. And we were saying it needs to be somehow welded into a lease, but the question became then what? Right? If it does.
If I can make a suggestion.
Sure.
If you let a small car park in the driveway, if something's hanging over the sidewalk, I mean, it's pretty easy to tell. If they get ticketed a couple times for hanging over a sidewalk, it will end real quick.
Now you're gonna take it all Ivyland of this?
Okay, we're not.
Excuse me,
There'll
so-
be a comment here. There'll be a comment. So,
Okay.
I mean, that would make it easier to, I mean, you can enforce it easily enough by saying no cars in a driveway. I don't know how realistic that is, particularly if you're having someone over to watch the Eagles game, if anyone's still watching the Eagles. But I think if you were to say no overhanging into the sidewalk and you will get ticketed, I think that could be enforced.
I mean, it's the same thing as, I live over on the village side and people cannot park on the same side as my house. And so when they come for whatever, I tell them they have to park across the street or whatever, and, it'd be the same thing. And if we had somebody overhang, they would get a ticket.
And that way, if someone bought a new grill and they stuck it in the garage and they have a small car and they want to keep it overnight in the driveway, it's not a violation. But if it's an extra long cab that's hanging, they just can't do it.
Is the driveways are expected to be blacktop or concrete?
What?
So there'll be a black driveway and a white sidewalk. It would be
It's gonna
fairly easy to determine, because that's part of where I was going. Where's the sidewalk? Where's the right of way? Okay. Again, well, Bill wasn't at the meeting, but the planning commission, we had said we'd like to see it all in the garage, but it's a recommending body.
It's a
so-
recommending body.
So-
You can, and now that there's been further discussion on it, I think council can either say, we understand where they're coming from, but with more information, we think we want to do it differently, or we understand where they're coming from, we think they're right, we're gonna do it their way.
Council?
I think that we do say in the garage and all this. Because once you let someone start trying to park outside on the street, it's just gonna grow and grow and grow. They're parking trucks out there, and then we're enforcing, tickets and making enemies quickly.
What are we talking about?
But I think in the lease, I agree with planning commission.
Is this
It should say in the garage. And.
But I had
Not
there.
blocking the driveway, park out front.
So let me,
I don't think you want to say in the garage, I think you want to say not in the driveway.
so one of the.
Sure,
thing-
you can
yes.
park a car somewhere else. That's true.
One of the things the planning commission noted was that the zoning hearing board ruling prohibited parking in the driveway.
Oh, that was from zoning as well.
I took your notes and put them in my letter, and that's
Yeah.
what was in your memo, I think.
Thanks for that reminder.
So
Ryan.
was that the case? I don't have,
Yeah, I think.
okay, so then I think that answers the question.
Yeah, because we don't get to say,
Yeah,
No to the
you'd
zoning
have to go
hearing.
back to the
Right.
zoning hearing
Okay.
board.
All right. and I want to triple make sure zoning hearing said in the garage
That's,
or not in the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
right, that's what I
Better
have,
said.
that's what I have from your memo.
Do you have I'm sorry, I might have it in my email. If you have the zoning hearing.
Parking was a big discussion at the zoning board. I don't remember exactly, but I do tend to agree that they made that a condition if parking the driveway.
I think I have it here. Hang on.
Yeah, it was number 3 in your comments.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yep, no, I get it.
go to the horse's mouth,
Yeah.
the zoning.
I don't know, I have that decision. I don't have it again.
You got it? Just read it.
I'm trying to find the,
Yeah.
It says parking of vehicles in the driveways associated with the dwelling shall be prohibited.
Okay.
Done.
All right,
okay. Yeah, that,
thank you.
thanks for that reminder because that trumps anything we might be saying here.
By the way, before I forget later, I see my letter, actually, I don't know where I got the November 23rd, 2023 date. I apologize. It was, the PC meeting was November 20, 2025.
Okay.
Anything else, Jeff?
No, I think that was it. As far as this was concerned. I mean, there's the list of waivers. I mean, we could go through it, but we've all done it. Or we saw it. It's mostly about existing conditions. I don't think there was anything super controversial in there. I'm good.
So I would just state that the applicants are here basically to report to council on the findings at the planning commission, but there is the public here. I am opening it up. If the public has any questions of the applicant, just ask that you be respectful.
There's really no point because it's just gonna be approved that way.
You wanna give your name?
Sure. My name is Peter Wolf. I've lived in Ivyland for the past 10 years. I love to argue this. There's really no point to it. They're walking with millions of dollars. They're gonna dump in, they're gonna make tons of money off of this. You guys are just gonna roll over and approve it, knowing full well this doesn't fit with Ivyland. It doesn't fit with what we do. You're just going to approve it. I would love to sit here and argue. You're arguing about a drive. The fact that this conversation is going on for more than 5 minutes clearly states that this plan doesn't work. You cannot argue over telling someone they can't park in their driveway. Okay, go ahead. You can't keep the cops out of the local 7-Eleven from playing video games and gambling all the time. How the hell do you think they're gonna sit there and enforce tickets? Now you're gonna have to go through all of Ivyland, ticket all of them too. Because it's gonna affect everybody in Ivyland. Everyone not realize this. Why? It doesn't fit. It does not fit. It doesn't look like anything in Ivyland. No one wants apartments in Ivyland. And instead, what are you gonna do? Put more in so these people can make more money?
We have apartments in Ivyland now.
I understand that. This does not fit with Ivyland. The apartments that are in Ivyland fit in so well, you cannot even find them for the most part. This is gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
I politely disagree with that assessment. I would say that this falls in lines with the old McMillan building, which was an eyesore, an abandoned building, rotting there on Jacksonville Road. We had a applicant come in with a cohesive plan to put a pediatric dentist office in there. They did a very nice job with it.
Did a great job.
And from what I see from all the presentations here I've seen yet today on 1061 Greeley, I do think this fits in. I will let council speak for themselves, but as president of council, I think it does fit. It's reusing a building that has for at least, I've been in town for 27 years. It's been sitting vacant for at least 15.
Correct. I remember driving by it, and that the latest.
So-
Disagreeing with it. But it does not fit, it does not work. I have a better idea. How about you forward all the tickets to the building owner for when the driveway doesn't fit? Because that's what's gonna happen. It's an unenforceable rule. It's that simple. If you were that hard up about a driveway, you can't enforce this. You're better off losing the driveway. Sure.
Just for the minutes, Peter, what's your last name?
Wolf,
Wolf. Where do you live, Peter?
106, West Bristol.
Thank you.
I've tried to get multiple people here. This just goes to show. The people don't even want to show up to argue this. Because they're tired of it. Because they know there's no point. You're just gonna roll over. You're just gonna do what they want to do. It's that simple. You're not gonna stop them. I understand that it's a difficult lot. I'm not debating that. The simplest thing to do is level it, put a small single family home there with a detached garage, you can make that fit in with Ivyland beautifully. It will fit perfectly. Difference is these guys don't make tons of money off it. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, Peter,
You're wrong. How am I wrong?
Because this group is probably, I don't know how many other investors looked at that building. Not one person ever came into Ivyland and said, we want to put a single family home on that one.
That's why I'm right now.
No,
You said investor.
Nobody wants
You
to.
said investor.
Okay,
Because they can't make enough money on it.
okay, so you.
That's the reason.
You're making the living,
Yeah.
no, you're making the living,
Yeah,
okay? Do you want to, as a person who is making a living, want to look at that lot and go, I'm gonna build a single family home there that's gonna sit, because nobody's gonna buy that home sitting on that corner. That's good for me.
Is that just like the house that's next to it that won't sell because of this?
No, that's a
okay.
whole, no.
point of order. Point of order.
If I may, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
The only thing I will say too is that I feel that this board, and you can disagree because that is certainly your right, but to say that we roll over for people is categorically not happening. Yes, there are probably decisions that we've made, and that's what we do when we become council members and people elect us to these positions, is try to make decisions in the best interest of our borough. But rolling over is certainly not something we do. In fact, I will tell you, one of my first meetings on borough many years ago, we had some attorney come in from Philadelphia thinking he was just going to do what he wanted and take over the town. And I think this board and subsequent members of this board and previous members of this board have indeed done what they felt is best. Again, you could disagree with our decisions, but to say we roll over, I'm just not going to accept that, and I disagree with that. Thank you very much.
Stuff like that. When people come in like this, you give it up.
Again, I will disagree.
That's fine.
All right,
Exactly.
Can I bring up one key point?
sure.
This.
Mr. Pietrowski.
This building and the property. It is on the National Registry of Historic Places. That doesn't mean that the building itself is on the National Registry, but I'm gonna say the neighborhood, the
Sure.
grid, and some other buildings are on the registry. I think it's in best interest, or at least the wishes of council to, and most of the residents, is to save the fabric of, and the architecture of that building. Now, of course, it has to change because it's retail, it's a showroom. And actually, it had parking at one time all the way across, and everyone backed out into the street, which is a much worse condition than for apartments from a traffic standpoint. But I think this plan goes a long way to be in character with Ivyland, especially the grid area, rather than tearing down a building. Forgive me, because I don't know when it was built, but 18 something.
It was a tractor shed at one point in time. It's part of the Hogan Sachs original holdings, so.
I think it goes a long way for adaptive reuse to save old buildings.
And I agree, and I commend your efforts.
Matt, can we show the front, the facade to the public? I think that'll help envision, what we're envisioning here.
Yeah, and it would, the bottom would be one plaster stucco to mimic the building across the street from it. It would have, a vertical siding, which is, barn looking, if you will. So we can't leave the showroom windows, it just doesn't make sense. So it's, I think, doing a very good job of keeping the fabric of the neighborhood, but having an adaptive reuse and saving that building.
I have a question, Matt. The roof line. Really not altering that too much. I mean, it looks very similar to what is there right now.
We're not altering the roof line at all, with the exception of the two larger dormers. They have to be larger in that, we need windows, an egress window by code to get out, so the window has to be taller. But it's not taller. The window itself is taller, but it's not going up higher, it's going down lower, so we have to make the dormer wider, and we have to alter the roof to be lower. The lower roof has to actually get a little lower, if you will, but the rest of the roof is staying exactly the same. Thank you.
May I make comment as a
Resident? Oh, absolutely.
Yes. I'm a 55-year resident of Ivyland Borough, and I can assure you that I live the closest to this property of anyone in this room at the moment. In my capacity of sitting here at every council meeting, I've seen many projects come forward that council has said no to on this property. It is a very problematic property. I think we can all agree to that. To me, this is the best thing that I've seen. And as I said, I live closer to this than anyone here in this room. I would rather live next to something like that than I would in the condition it has been in for so long.
Janet. Okay. Mr. Alden. Scott, please state your name and address, please.
Scott Alden, 49 Willow. Sorry. Are we concerned about the footprint of the building? To the historic? The whole footprint, meaning where the edge of the glass is. Are we concerned about that? Is that something trying to fit in with the new building?
Well, there's no new building, it's the exact same footprint as the old building. That's the existing.
Okay, because the showroom itself, that glass, it's not original. Okay.
Right.
When I was a kid, they built that out as a showroom for mowers and snowmobiles and stuff when they sold them. Why not move it back a little bit? And that would allow for somebody to park in the driveway. And my recollection is from me walking, isn't that sidewalk really wide? No, that was the normal. Wide.
Yeah, it's a new.
I thought it was wider than that.
No.
But my suggestion would be, is I can see the pitfalls, say you can't park in the driveway. Dear God, Salegas are gonna have people parking all over their curbs and everything else. Why not move the front of the building, the lower portion, back so it's enough for people? I don't know if you'd have two parking spots in the garage and one out then, or maybe you lose one, but you stacking cars up front to back in a garage, nobody's gonna do it. Does anybody park their cars in their driveway, in their garage like that?
Not a garage, my driveway.
Well, no, I'm saying you're right. But I can't imagine anybody doing that unless of course you have a lot of collectors cars and stack them up and but for the most of us who got to take that car out, I got to go to work. Well, sure, cars in front. Now it's the whole rigmarole. They're going to find another way around that.
I understand your point, and we actually looked into that. Problem with that is, if you don't have stacking parking, then you need 8 parking spaces wide instead of 4. So now you have eight parking spaces would take up basically the whole building. So now you have 8 cars backing out into traffic, from a non-controlled point. It's a dangerous condition compared to what was there.
Or what is proposed, at least they have to back into their spots.
Well, that, you're then gonna ask someone to stop at 4:30 in the afternoon when the industrial park's coming out, stop traffic and back into their spots.
It's a more controlled situation than backing out.
We, we meet the code in terms of the zoning code, in terms of how many parking spaces. Part of the reason this project or this building has not been redeveloped is because no one could figure out how to do that.
Right.
Everyone needed a parking variance, and I believe the borough was not willing to create a parking. So our proposal does not, we don't need a variance, we need the parking requirements. People park in their driveways, it's single car driveways, single width driveways, and they back out and they have to let another car out. That's no different than a double stacked garage. So we have the parking in the building, we meet the zoning code. I respect your opinion, but I think this is still the best way to do this.
All I'm saying is if you're going to say you can't park in the driveway. Because maybe your bumper is hanging over a little bit. People are gonna find other places to park their car. Selegas are gonna have. Will drive all the way up their curb. God forbid if somebody tries to park on the Wilson Avenue side. Beyond that, between the pole and the stop sign. That's a mess there. Are we all familiar with what I'm talking about? That's bad there. You don't want anybody to park. In fact, I would suggest putting a no parking zone there just to make sure that it stays open. But if you don't do that, mark my words, you're going to have people all over that block parking everywhere. Just because it's easier. If I get home first, usually means I'm going to leave work. I'm going to leave at home early to go to work. And now I got my wife or whoever. My roommate, who's now parked in front of me in my double stack. That's all I'm saying, you can see a lot of problems with this happening. And then you're gonna have residents up here all the time complaining about all the tenants parking. That's all I'm saying.
With all due respect, how is that any different than the rest of the neighborhood? In terms of the parking? We have 2 off-street parking spaces per unit. Whether they're in a garage or in a driveway, they're still off. There's, if they have, well, some people may only have 1 car, but if they have people over like anyone else, they're gonna park in the neighborhood like every other house today.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't gonna be my problem. Because I'm 2 blocks up, but I can foresee. People down at, Canada Street over really. Having a problem. Maybe rent some of that open parking lot. Across the street.
Well, that's a private property. That's not our discussion. I understand, Scott, but I mean, I think Matt and his team want to put forth a solution that, again, fits the requirement. We have time and time again come to this discussion point about off-street parking and providing off-street parking. I think, again, in my humble opinion, I think they've provided a good solution. I thank them for the presentation.
Can I make another comment in regard, but I understand where you're coming from. However, in fairness, I guarantee you can go down Wilson Avenue on that block any day of the week and you will find a minimum of current residents of 6 to 7 houses parked there at any time of the day, 24 hours a day. So, I mean, you can't discriminate against a project like this from parking somewhere on the street the same way.
You start parking from your house.
They already do, Scott. They already, now that's what I'm saying. I understand where you're coming from on that, but I don't think we can,
I love this.
yeah, I mean, I don't think we can discriminate is all I'm saying. Current
And
residents,
again, I think your guys are coming in with a plan to get parking off the roadway,
exactly.
which is one of the big requirements we had for redevelopment on the property. So thank you. Is there any other comments from council? Seeing none, I say that we move on. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. You need to vote?
Yeah, I would say if you're inclined, you can vote. I would be mindful of the comments from the planning commission.
Yes.
As well as the November 12th, 2025 engineering review letter. Any other letters from fire marshal, municipal authority, conservation district, zoning hearing board decision. When you're,
Request letter.
You like to get that.
and the waiver, yeah, and the waiver several request. Right. I could state a motion for you if you want.
Would you state a motion?
Done, thank you. I was, I can't write that fast.
If the council is so inclined, they can approve this land development application with the requested waivers for 1061 Greeley Avenue, contingent upon the following conditions, all conditions identified by the planning commission at their November 2025 meeting. The comments made by Carroll Engineering in its November 2025 review letter. Any comments from the Borough Fire Marshal, Warminster Municipal Authority, Bucks County Conservation District, and other applicable laws and conditions, and compliance with the zoning hearing board's decision.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion passes. That leads us to item 11, consideration of the Verizon franchise agreement. Let's talk about that, Mr. Solicitor.
So I circulated, but well, let me back up a second. As you know, and we discussed it a little bit. I don't know if it was at the last meeting or the meeting before that. You're part of the consortium that's working, the Bucks County Consortium that's working on Verizon franchise issues. You received at a prior meeting the audit, which essentially showed that you're getting everything you're currently entitled to under the current agreement. But one of the recommendations was that Cohen Law Group, that's the group representing the consortium and the borough with Verizon, be aggressive in trying to get additional beneficial contract provisions. I related that comment from council to Cohen Law Group. We now have the agreement that Cohen Law Group has negotiated with Verizon. There is an executive summary that I circulated that summarizes some of the issues. The percentage of the franchise fee percentage of 5% is still the same. However, there's some other changes that were made to increase the categories from which revenue can be obtained. I could read the whole letter, but it's basically laid out in this letter where there's essentially 10 points that they point out of changes between this agreement and the prior agreement. If council so inclined, there is a resolution that they can approve to enter the agreement with Verizon for the new term. Yep. You're looking at the summary or the agreement?
It was about governmental channels.
Yes,
And
okay, I remember that.
and I read it again, and I just read it again.
Yeah. Number 6,
Yeah,
right?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, all right.
Woo! No, I had a question and I finally read it. I don't know, it's just the 5th time. And okay.
So if council is so inclined, they can approve a resolution that they would approve the agreement, including all the terms and conditions contained therein, and authorize the execution of the agreement.
And remind me again, what's the term?
So this term is,
The 5-year.
Every term? Okay, I couldn't find that.
You going to make a motion?
No, go ahead.
I'm moving on to, we adopt and, approve.
Okay.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That will be resolution 2025-5.
Just legislating up a storm here.
Resolution 20.
What's our record?
5.
Yeah. All right. Moving right along, report of the president. So, Vice President Bristow and myself have been working on our codification. And going through some of the things that the codifier had pointed out to us and looking at some things. We realized that we do not have a formal park name for the former Navy Housing Park. And I've been thinking about this.
So, and the background to that is that in the codification, the parks, rules that apply in the parks are applied via the name of the park. So, you know, in the commons or whichever. So, rather than jump into something that defines things by latitude, longitude boundaries or something, we need to name the park. And that makes it flow through all the codifications. So we need a name. Go ahead, sorry.
No, thank you for that cue up. In that light, I think it's always nice to, we put our memorial park in, we have trees honoring former mayor Charlie Ritter, former Borough Council President, Bob Severn. We have plaques on this lovely, I think it would be appropriate to name the park after Ed Oldroyd, former parking rec chair, long-time resident, I believe, close to 50 years. 50 plus years. 50 plus years. He is no longer, of course, with us. Your neighbor for a number of years, Mr. Alden, right? I'd like to put forth that motion that we name it the Ed Oldroyd Memorial Park.
Here's the big question.
Go ahead.
Ed, Edward, Edwin, what's the right word?
I think his daughter is current owner of the Ivyland store.
I believe it's Edwin.
That's what I'm remembering. And so the question is whether we wouldn't want that to be formal or not.
I believe it was Edwin.
And
Except for his mom.
boom. Okay.
That is correct, isn't it?
His name is on the plaque for Borough Hall, is it not?
Yeah.
I would motion that whatever it is on the plaque on Borough Hall,
Close enough.
we adopt that spelling. Spelling.
Oh,
So
that's very nice.
I'd like to make that motion.
I will second.
I have a
Is it
And it was the Edwin.
Memorial Park?
Edwin Oldroyd.
Yes.
Memorial
That's the way.
Is it Memorial Park? Is that?
South.
Whatever that says, Oldroyd Memorial Park.
Yes.
Got it.
Edwin
Okay.
Oldroyd Memorial Park.
I'm there. I'm there.
So motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Codification can continue.
All right. Moves us on to the engineer.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Chris.
I'm happy to report the local share account grant application for the third phase of the Greeley Avenue Stormwater Project was submitted. And I included a copy of that complete submission package if you'd like to reference that with my engineer's report. Pursuant to the discussion at the last meeting regarding the speed limit signage and our recommendation from our traffic department to install 13 new additional signs across the borough, we reached out to a variety of sign manufacturers and installers and have presented you with a follow-up email with the results of those proposals. I think they're all capable of doing the work satisfactorily. We're talking about a 24-inch by 30-inch standard PennDOT speed limit sign for 25 miles an hour.
Yep.
The low proposal came from Wigan Signs in the amount of $2,427.75. We're also sensitive to the fact that we don't want to hit any electrical lines for any of the borough-owned street lamps. So we separately contacted Harry Hay. And I also got confirmation from them that they anticipate they're going to need 4 hours to do the markouts for all 13 locations. So the figure of 680 was reduced from what I previously said. So let's just see here. So I anticipate a bill from them for $340 to do the markout prior to that work. So if the council is so inclined, you know, you can consider the other estimates or make a movement on the low proposal tonight.
Is there anything that, can this work proceed now that we're pushing into the dead of winter? Or
I don't see anything that precludes us from doing the work now. Yep.
Okay, all right. Then I would make a motion that we go ahead with the low bid and move on.
Including Harry Hay.
Yes, yeah, the package, it's still less
The
than,
package.
less than 3K, yeah.
Okay, I will second that. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All
Done.
right,
Okay.
next, hang up some street signs.
Great. I'm happy to report as well that the Wilson Avenue pothole was repaired on December 4th and it came in under budget by $1,000. So the council previously authorized $6,700 to T. Schieffer to fix that pothole. The invoice was submitted in the amount of $5,700. Don't know whether or not you need a motion since you authorized the proposal. Yeah,
Oh,
so,
good,
okay, so Janet, you're good to pay the bill.
excellent.
If I might, as an aside to that, I don't know if anyone contacted Warminster, but Warminster came and the big pothole on the bridge has been fixed.
Yes.
Great. We're leading by example.
Oh, yeah. That's twice that PennDOT go on their website, because the Kirk Road and that, I dropped notes in that website for potholes and they were fixed incredibly quickly. I don't know if it's an anomaly or what, but we'll take it.
I think
You
we
have
need
that
to
touch,
also
Chuck?
drop in on the one that is in there right away on Jacksonville Road.
No.
In front of.
Mr. Petrowski uses that to guard his trash.
He's not here. Oh, he's not here.
That is a big one.
He's been on them forever about it. I don't know what's going on with that. It's the traffic cone keeps getting lower and lower, which
Yeah.
means it's getting deeper.
It's getting bigger. It's, yeah.
Um,
And I don't understand why that, I mean, that has to be clearly in PennDOT's right away.
They're aware of the issue because we followed up with them numerous times on that,
Yeah,
especially when they lost the first cone and they just put a second one on top.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a little baffled by that myself.
I am too. And then the last item I had was we're in receipt of escrow release number 1 for the construction work happening over at 79 Gow at the hotel. We have reviewed the work and also inspected various components of that and are recommending that the escrow be reduced by $73,000, $73,195.10. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Sure, because I live across the street, I've seen way more of that project than I care to, but they were on the far side from me. They were digging a big, I don't know if it's detention, retention, whatever that basin was to keep the water on the property, right? Is that now functional?
That's now in and function.
So if we got,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the spring rains that are coming, right? If we get a giant dump of water, that portion of the project will work hopefully as advertised. And we won't see Gow Avenue and Lincoln getting covered in mud and washed. That's the hope, right?
That's what we anticipate.
All right.
Now,
I
I
just,
mean, you still need top coat asphalt. So I think there is a slight differential between where the grade is right now and the,
And the finished drains.
correct.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, so there is gonna be some ponding on the property because of that.
but it'd be on the property. Yeah,
I anticipate it should be on. the
okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. I was just curious because,
And we can certainly keep eyes on that, and if we have to mitigate that with some sort of temporary diversion berm to make sure that that does get to the inlet, we can address that.
great, thank you.
That's all I have.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Solicitor.
All right, so the big thing we have tonight that we haven't already covered is a draft of the sewer lateral ordinance. Let me just run through a little bit of the highlights. We were requested, the borough was requested by the authority to create or adopt an ordinance that prevents stormwater, clean water from getting into their sewer system, because that obviously increases costs, reduces capacity to treat sewer. They had a model that was essentially the Warminster Township version of the ordinance that they sent us, that they said they'd like us to at least adopt or start from. I started from that. I will tell you the significant changes that I made. Number one, with regard to residential properties, I basically made a requirement that upon sale, they hire a certified lateral inspector to do the inspection. That was basically it. I didn't include a requirement, and this is one of the things I will defer to council and some of the more people with more construction expertise. I didn't include a requirement like we left in for some of the commercial properties that said you have to do video, a video of the line. I figured for residential, cost being obviously a concern, we'd leave it to the discretion of the professional what they felt they needed to do in order to do a proper certified inspection. So that's basically the way I left that. Then when we get to the commercial, industrial, and residential of 4 units or more, multifamily of 4 units or more, it was a little bit more bells and whistles, more consistent with the Warminster ordinance. Left in the video whenever, within 2 years of adoption of the ordinance, there needs to be an inspection. That inspection, again, it's a certified inspector. The inspector, it shall include video and all that other stuff. One of the things I did not, whenever we talk about video, one of the requirements that Warminster had that we discussed a little bit with council previously, it seemed like a little bit of overkill, that there was video before. If you find a problem, you fix it and then you video it again. I think we removed that second video. But other than that, it had, so whenever within 2 years of the ordinance going into effect, prior to any sale, and also prior to any change of use, an inspection would be required.
Are you still in the commercial?
Yeah, now we're in the commercial section.
Okay.
Yeah, the commercial, industrial, residential section. That there would, we left in, and again, this is something that you may want to put in the residential, where the authority would have a right to access at reasonable times the property. I didn't know if we wanted that in for our residential properties. I did not include it on the residential properties, but again, that's something that if council feels is important to have in, we can put that in. And that's basically, I mean, that's the main part of it. There's then various, enforcement penalties if you fail to comply and things like that.
We had a question about change of use
Yeah.
in residential properties.
Did not include, okay.
Was that in a Warminster and not in ours?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I just wanted
Only
to make
change,
sure.
I only left in change of use for commercial, industrial, and, multifamily 4 units or more.
Janet, we don't need it tonight, but would it be pretty straightforward to figure out how many commercial properties and residential, and
We have-
more? I'd be interested to find out how many that is before we go back and talk to the municipal authority about this. Because.
Yeah, and I do think it makes sense to, before you enact it, to let them review it, comment.
Oh, we're gonna have a long conversation. There's conversations yet to come with the
Yeah.
municipal
Yeah.
authority about this, but I just want to make sure I've got
I mean,
firm ground to stand on.
And I think council, because we've discussed this before, understands and appreciates their need to control clean water from getting into the system. It's just a question of, how you go about doing it.
Yeah, no, as we've said before, with the age of most of especially the residential properties in the borough, this is a big thing. We're gonna have a lot of residences that are gonna fail this.
Well,
get that we have
and
to
that's one
fix
of the
it.
reasons, right? Well, if it's failed, it's failed. If, as far as the cost of an inspection, and, I was on the fence. Do I keep in the video? Do I take out the video for the residential? I figured, they're certified professionals. We can leave it to their discretion. I'm not really sure how you would do it without a video, but I didn't know that we necessarily had a
Really
video
small plumber.
requirement. So,
Really skinny plumber.
all right.
Okay, cool. I might suggest that we,
I want to table it.
take this under advisement. I want to print it out, read it.
Sure.
I think we have some conversation to have with the municipal authority.
Okay.
About this.
Yes.
All right. I wanted to get it to you so we could at least have a
I appreciate
discussion
it.
and go from there.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it? All right. We'll bring it section. Chuck?
I'm good.
All right. Anybody else on the unfinished business? Come up tonight? No?
So would it be appropriate for me to bring up, the budget proposal?
This unfinished
This
business,
point?
or is it-
Why don't we go down to finance?
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mayor.
The police report for the month of November. Patrol vehicle 3801 traveled 605 miles. And the patrol vehicle 264 miles. During the month of November, there were 10 traffic citations issued and a warning. Also a non-reportable accident. The court check for November has not yet been received, so it'll be bundled in January, I'm sure. That's it for the police report. The only thing I have is that we're doing their annual holiday card exchange. And we've asked that they'll be handed in by the 20th of December, which is next weekend at 49 Wilson, the Aldens, 85 Lincoln, my house, 48 Chase, Sal's house, and 8 Ryan here's. So get your cards in by the 20th, those cards.
Absolutely. It's a lovely Ivyland tradition. We've been a little lax in years past, but it's nice to get
It is good, yeah.
cards to and from your neighbors without having to pay postage.
Right,
So,
and just to let everybody know, we've done this for years and years under prior agreement with the US Postal Service. We did contact the Postal Service years ago to make sure we could do this. We only ask that you have a spot on your porch somewhere for us to drop off the cards. There are a few of us who will be doing elf duty that weekend, so.
raise your hand.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to committees, Park and Rec.
Hey, good afternoon or good evening, everyone. Parks and Rec. So we did the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I'm drawing a blank on the date. Let me see what date that was. No, it was actually November 29th. Yeah, November 29th. This is a past event. So we did our tree lighting at the Ivyland Village. Had a really great turnout. We lit up that big tree there on the Ivyland green. And then we had hot chocolate, we had cookies, we had cupcakes. It was a really great turnout, really fun event. A lot warmer than it was last year. Last year was super chilly. If you didn't make it out to the event, no worries. We have another event coming up on December 19th through at the Ivyland Church. So if you didn't want to make it across the road to the Ivyland Village, we got another tree lighting. So we have a tree that's going to be planted in front of the Ivyland Church. We're going to light that up, make a new tradition.
Already there.
Already there, already up. I guess we have to get it lit, right, Sal?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get that lit. We'll have hot chocolate, we'll have pizza, and there'll be gingerbread decorating for the kids as well. You can either sign up if you have kids interested in signing up for gingerbread decorating. You can do that through the church, or I have a link up on Facebook as well. You can do that through Sign Up Genius. And yeah, it should be a great time.
What's that date again?
December 19th. It'll be at 6 p.m.
Alrighty.
All right, that's what I got.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you.
All right. Public safety.
Safety, we did not have a meeting this month, but we don't have anything else to report.
All right, that moves us on to finance. Gears, you had some things you wanted to discuss regarding finance.
Yeah, I just wanted to do my due diligence of going through the budget. Obviously, anytime taxes are going up, don't want, like, I'm a resident. I don't want my taxes to go up. So I just wanted to do my due diligence to go through the budget and, just do the exercise and maybe understand. So if you got two documents in front of you, Borough Council, that are presented, one has a blue paperclip. That's the proposed budget that was advertised to the public. And then I've got the green paperclip where it says revised. Revised meaning I went through there. So what you'll notice at the top, that line for the tax increase on the revised budget, my revision, we're not taking an increase. And then I've got highlighted where those changes are and just questions that I have. So I guess the biggest change that I realized is that line that's highlighted in yellow on page 1, 392.01, the transfer from the general fund that's unallocated. In 2025, we took $95,585 from the general fund and moved it into the budget. Proposed currently is only 50,000. So it's a 47% decrease in what we're bringing over. My proposal would be, why don't we reduce that by about 21%, move in 75,000, still a savings there. And, but it shortens that gap and it helps us make cuts in the budget that would help us achieve not raising taxes on the residents. Page 2, on the revised budget, I have two line items that are highlighted in blue. One's a static IP address. I'm not sure what we're utilizing the static IP address, but that's $1,680 that's being spent. Anyone who doesn't know what an IP address is in the IT world, when your computer connects online or your router plugs into Verizon or Comcast, whoever you have for your internet service, that address doesn't change. It's a string of numbers, 100.34.94.10, for example, would be your address. What we're basically doing is paying for a reservation for that. There are other tools and methods of us to get around that and save that money. So, I didn't adjust that line. I just think it would be a good idea and the due diligence of the council to find out, hey, is this something that we're actually utilizing?
So,
I believe that's,
yeah, so
that is the hard line for the police
the
department.
police department, back end
Right.
requires a fixed IP address.
Got it.
Can't-
Okay.
So we can't do any dynamics yet. We've
Got it.
touched it before. My memory is telling me that's what it is.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I had the IT services as well highlighted in there. I wasn't sure what those costs were. Janet did provide clarification that that is for the police department as well. But again, I didn't touch those numbers in blue. On page 3, I highlighted a couple in yellow. Just the capital streetlight purchase and then the street lighting. Those two are just highlighted in yellow. I just wanted clarification on why the increase is there. So Janet provided a clarification of why. One is the lease payment for the light.
I told yours. The 5,123 is our annual payment with the DVRC on our project. So that line item has to stay there. That's our commitment. And the 7,500 is an increase from 2025 because it is our electric lighting of the streets, which
Right.
we all know has gone up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so clarification provided on that. And then the other two adjustments I have on page 3 highlighted in yellow would be the capital expense from 5,000 to 10,000 on the proposed budget. I would recommend moving that to 8,500, not to the full 10,000. So we're doing 100% increase, whereas this would be, a lot less than that. I don't have the percentage written down here. And then the capital expense for the tree purchases, instead of keeping that the same at 10,000 for 2026, reduce that by $2,000. It'd be $8,000, which I believe is still, healthy for the tree budget. And that brings our total expenses, in line where we would be $222 net income. And that would be without a tax increase. Now, I know it's just me going in and plugging numbers in, but I felt like it was my due diligence to do that as a resident of Ivyland, but also being part of Borough Council, that I could be heard here and go through this exercise with everyone.
And I appreciate that as well, Piers.
Yeah.
My only comment would be to you, to where most of this, the biggest change that you've indicated on there really is on page 1, which is what we're taking from unallocated funds. Now, just seeing this for the first time tonight, I can't off the top of my head, but I will tell you, the reason you saw that 95,000
Sure.
was we had, as I explained to you, those general fund unallocated funds are what are left in our general fund at the end of the year after everything is paid and
Sure.
moving forward. Back in those, the reason we had that amount, we were running a little over 400,000 moving into the new year all the time. If you see what was reported tonight, at this point in December, we're at 337,000 looking to take from, which I felt it was only prudent to go 50. That was why I recommended 50,000 in there.
Sure.
Okay, because you're gonna deplete our fail-safe that we have in our checking account for our current bills. So,
Right. Yeah, it's, some of my thought process was behind that also was, we have the project 1061 Greeley. I'm not sure what the expected completion date of that is, but that's going to be, once that's completed, we're going to have taxpayers, we're going to have new residents move in, we're going to have them paying the earned income tax as well. I feel like we have a lot of good plans in place. We are doing great with our grant applications and applying for a lot of different projects. So I feel like we're set up in a good spot. I know that, we'll be going under that 300,000 of where you'd want to be, but I feel like this is a feasible budget here. And maybe it's, maybe this is not the final product here, but maybe there's some other tweaks that can be made. Maybe it's not a full 2 mils that goes, maybe it's, 1. But just some food for thought.
yeah, and my other comment on some of your, on page 3, I will tell you, the other thing is you have depleted our capital expenses. It's under, 452, which is your park and rec expenses.
Yep.
I think that was why I recommended more this year, was because we've done it with the swings and the
Sure.
projects, that you've got to start building that account up again. And the tree purchase, I will tell you, while that says tree purchase, what also comes under that is actually tree maintenance.
Right.
And we have had a lot of that in the past year.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, I know we
I think we
did.
can't just we're overspending in that
Right.
area right now.
Yeah, and I think for last year, we did, we did the park, the playground, right? And then we did the tree planting.
Now,
We had the storm.
Came out of that capital account, and that was
Right.
why that needed more this year to bolster that up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
This project came out of.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think there was another grant that was just released today, applications for it. If I could just pull that up real quick. It's in my inbox here. But it looks like it was through Bucks County Conservation District. So there is actually it's a grant that helps trees. It's called the Watershed. Sorry, I'm missing the name here.
Chamonix Watershed Project.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so it's a grant that helps with planting of trees. I see that as an option for us to apply for as well. I think we've had good success with the grant applications and would love to see that be applied for as well. But again, just, food for thought. Maybe it needs a couple of tweaks here and there, and maybe it's not. Maybe we do end up just doing the increase. But again, I just wanted to share it with everybody, and I appreciate the conversation.
Here's, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
From my perspective, okay, and I live in the same borough, live
Yeah,
in the
sure.
same borough you do, right? We have had some reasonable success in grants. I don't think we can bank the budget on it. You know what I mean? I think we have to be prepared to pay for it and hope we get the grant. And, another bit of this is we did have some discussion at a previous meeting that first off, there's an increase coming. It has to happen, in my opinion. But we're going to be looking at repaving here soon, and we need to build up a buffer to work from, or the tax increase to pay for that in one chunk is going to be untenable. It is my opinion. So I think we kind of need to start moving on, looking 8-10 years out, because we're going to need to build up a reasonable reserve, because it didn't get any cheaper to pave the streets. So that's where I'm at. I appreciate the work you've done. We have to re-advertise. I'm trying to think of the
You
logistics.
would have to you would not be able to adopt your budget tonight.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's a thing about we need to pay our bills on.
Well,
And-
by statute, it is that, so I just said you have to.
Well, I think two things might come out of.
Well, and my other comment about that, and I mean, I thought long and hard on this because I'm a taxpayer as all of you are too. None of us like to see that go up. However, we've had such a long string, and as Chuck just said, we've got to look further down the road. I also did not want us to be foolish enough to ride on our laurels here, and in 2 years or a year, have to make a larger increase in that budget. Right when you're also taxpayers are also going to get, I can guarantee you, a very large increase in their tax or in their trash billing, which comes out on your tax bill. That is absolutely inevitable to almost double, I'm going to guess, when we go out to bid. We have been very fortunate that has been static for we're like 6 years now, I think,
You got what?
on our trash
Got
bill.
another 2 years on
And
that?
we've got 2 years left on the trash. And so you've got to factor that in moving forward. You don't want that all to hit at the same time.
So,
Yeah.
but what I'm taking from this is maybe we need to back the budget cycle up by a month, because we're kind of in a spot here where
Right.
we have very limited options right now. It's either, not paying, by law, we need to pass a budget before
Right.
the year ends. And here we are, right? So
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
we need to back up so we've got one more month of give and take. I'm pointing at other people because I don't have to do it, but
No.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, because if it's advertised to public and someone was to make public comment about the budget, then yeah, we would need.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's available, but then quite frankly, I don't know.
You mean back up I'm not following you, back up the
timeline,
process,
the timeline
future for the budget.
such that we have,
A little more time to chew on.
one more, because we've kind of
Yeah,
driven into a canyon here that we can't get out of.
I mean, we did have quite a spirited discussion, I was involved with last month on the budget too, where we did discuss things,
Sure, we did, but,
so, I mean, yeah.
yeah. Have we had many residents come in and say, can I see the budget?
New councilman, Mr. Alden.
Okay, good on you. Good on you. It's about to be your problem. No, but, okay, I was just curious. I mean, over the fence talk with neighbors
Historically,
always.
Chuck, historically, we have only ever had one person come in after it's been advertised, and that was Katie Myers.
That's funny.
But of course,
Is all I can say.
Yeah.
okay.
I think everybody's been touching on a little bit. We've got a plan for the future. We've got a lot of big things coming up. We're doing infrastructure for stormwater. There's streets. We have parks and things that we still want to develop. So I would say that I hear you, but I think we're going to move forward with the budget as it is. All right. So I make a motion that we adopt our advertised budget. Do I have a second?
Second. He can go. It can be him.
Make it Bill.
It can be Bill.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
You can vote no?
Absolutely.
Okay, now that brings us to, we have advertised the tax ordinance, setting the tax rate for 2026 at 13.25 mils for general purposes and 2.25 mils for fire company purposes, which is a 2 mil increase from last year in the general budget. Okay, so you have to have a hearing on that, I believe, which I guess we've had pretty much.
Yeah, well, it is.
Okay,
We're having our hearing.
Oh, yay.
Oh, yay, oh, yay.
it is setting the ordinance of Borough of Ivyland, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, fixing the tax rate for the year 2026 in the amount of 13.25 mils for general purposes and 2.25 mils for fire company purposes.
Oh, be it.
It would be ordinance 2025-3.
We need a vote in the hearing.
Well, you can close the hearing and vote, or you can just do it.
All in favor?
Was there a motion and a second?
Motion,
Second.
motion and second. All in favor?
Who made the motion? I'm sorry. Okay.
Bill, motion, Chuck, second.
Chuck second.
Wait, didn't we just vote on this when we're voting on it again?
You voted a motion to adopt the budget as advertised.
Okay.
This is a motion.
For the
to-
ordinance.
for the tax.
Thank you.
ordinance.
Okay,
That is
aye.
tax ordinance.
Got it. Aye. Thank you. Okay.
Right, and they're advertised together.
I missed
But
that.
one is an ordinance and one is.
we
I don't know that because it's the third time this week I've done this.
Thank you. Thank you. I got confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Did we forget to do something and we're going back? Okay.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, okay, great.
Janet, what's the ordinance number?
It is 2025-3.
Oh, that's resolutions. We had 5 resolutions and 3 ordinances.
This one was an ordinance.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, you're ripping it up.
Get that
All
done.
right. Matt's not here, so we'll see.
I'm gonna just put this one in and start it because this takes everyone's signature on the tax ordinance.
So Streets and Walks is not here. And condolences to the Savarese family. Borough Properties not here. Planning Commission?
No, other than the report we already gave.
That leads us to the fire company. Hello, Deputy Chief.
That's a big grown fella.
All right, so I live in Park Company, Butler Grove Report. Summary of actions and improvements the department has made in the last month. Emergency services update 2025. Tonight's meeting, as of tonight's meeting, we've had 14 calls per year to date. In the last 30 days, we had 1 fire, 8 EMS, and 4 fire police activities and responses. We've added some new equipment and updates to our vehicle. We now have EV blend. We have EV disconnect plugs. All right, so for you people that have vehicles that start catching on fire, that will be there. Chargers and batteries for SCBA now, we no longer do regular batteries for that, we have charging packs that are in our SCBA's. We have updated gear washer, we have a new hose bed cover for engine 62, and we have a new heart leak now on engine 62, which makes our jobs a lot easier. Okay. We have some training opportunities coming up, this is for Borough Council, okay? So, this Monday evening coming up on the 15th, we have PET CPR, that's first aid, okay, which is being held here. And the instructors are Dr. Justin Hoffman, DMVD, and Dr. Lakshmi Shastri Hoffman, DMD. All right, it's a basic awareness level, and we'll help you, you know, things happen, so we have to.
When is that? December 15th?
So. Around something,
That's.
yeah, it's PET CPR and minor first aid. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparatus update, engine 62, it's had some issues with air leaks and have been repaired. Lick is already there, company that comes out, takes care of our apparatus when we need it. If I can repair it in the house. Okay. TAC 62 has had some water issues and the leak valve issues, which has been addressed. It is no longer a warranty, so those are not our problems. All right. We are still looking for a grant to replace engine 62, which is now 30 years old. Right. So, you know, the positive thing is now we are 5+3 instead of 4. That'll help us out a lot more to try to get this grant scalable. And most of the stuff that we put on these trucks has been done through grants. Right. So you guys are aware of it. And Wagon 62 is doing well and winning. As you guys are not aware, our old piece, the 1905 hand drawn, has been winning a lot of awards with different musters and everything else, and it is still functioning. It's not like fires, but we do show it off very well. And some old business for the fire company. Santa's coming to town December 14th, 2025. From 8 to 12, we will have the Santa pancake breakfast, which we know will have extra sausage now because somebody's not to be there. Okay? No, it's okay.
What time was it on the
Wasn't
15th?
me, that.
December 20th, Santa coming to Ivyland?
No.
8 to 12.
So,
The
you're
CPR,
also little craft.
the PET CPR. Oh.
Families that have kids and whatnot, so we bought some ornaments, they can draw on color, they $2 piece, and they can put them on our tree there. Right, so we're doing a little something for that. December 20th, Sandy is coming to the borough. It's gonna be coming around in the fire truck. All right, and look it through Facebook, and I grew up and lived in Ivyland. Okay, so I know it's on that, I don't know if it's on the borough website as well, but I know at least it's on those two sites. That they, the times we're gonna be coming around to those specific areas. They might deviate a little bit because you never know what traffic's like and how things go. All right, Mr. and Mrs. Claus will be there. Mr. and Mrs. Claus will also be pancake breakfast. All right. Closing remarks. 2025 has been a year of service and growth. With each call, drill, and event support and reflects the continued commitment to our members and to the residents of Ivyland Borough. We as a group have the leadership and commitment to accomplish any challenges put before us and are proud to be a part of this community. We are proud to serve and hope 2026. We continue to dedicate and embody the spirit that makes Ivyland Fire Company cornerstone of this. Respectfully submitted by myself, Deputy Chief, Ivyland Fire Company.
Thank you. Thanks for a good year.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Ed.
Ed, I have a question.
Yes.
I'm about to show my age here. SCBA's have batteries?
Yes.
How long?
They actually have a computer that
Oh.
actually maintains and keeps the heads up display from the test one. So we're able to
Okay.
see and everything.
Sorry.
That's what I'm talking about. Before, they were all just mechanical, they didn't have all that stuff, now they all.
I just remember a bell. That was it. So,
Okay, just take one thing, hopefully you everybody here, is that, we appreciate the road repairs and everything else, but can someone please let us know when the roads are getting closed, shut down, because it came on the other day when the road repair was being done at Jacksonville
We didn't
and
even-
Wilson, and we had to go all the way around to get to the firehouse, so we didn't know that was being done at that moment. So if somebody just give us an update before it happens, just so we know, let our members know. It would be greatly appreciated.
Chris, does your team have the?
Major decision.
It was warm enough to.
Team principal, and that was like our last day, so it was either wait for the spring or go.
It's the second time something like this happened, not at the road, and then having a big crane in front of it. So it's like, yeah, there was a couple things that it's just give a heads up.
If we can.
Oh, okay.
If we can.
All right, thanks, Ed.
No problem, thank you.
Nothing from emergency management. Any new business?
Yes, one other comment that we did, item that we didn't, resolve. In January, this is a reorganization year. So we need to know, do you want to make this reorganization? It's the first Monday,
Yes.
and we want to make it a regular as well. We
Yes.
don't want to come out the second Wednesday, because I have to advertise this.
Correct.
This has not been advertised yet.
Right.
My next thing is we have to know the time frame.
We-
Now, we have swearing in,
We
is
will-
why it usually goes, in the past has been earlier. But I need to know this. to
Monday or the
advertise the
Wednesday?
meeting.
Monday.
The Monday. So that's the fifth.
It's
January.
Monday, January 5th. I'd like to keep it at 7 PM.
Keep it at 7, doing our swearing in at that time. and then-
I think you might have a problem.
Because the judge is not available. Or would-
He's double duty again. He's still double duty, people,
So
yeah,
will it be better if we do it at 6?
probably.
Okay. Then.
But I can, like I said, I mean, I can double, but I know he has double duty again, like he has in the past with
Okay.
with his other, with his former municipality, I should say, but yes, I do know that.
The other team.
Whatever we need to do it, let's set it at 6. Let's just verify that. with the
Yeah,
judge.
yes,
And-
yeah,
Chris, just let me know that for sure. Or do you want me to call? I'll call your dad.
You want- you
I
call.
will double check.
thank you.
All right, but we're going to start the whole meeting at 6, swearing in and then just continue
Yes.
rather than a big lapse in between. That's
Yes,
correct.
yes.
That everybody else could be here.
We'll be there.
No. I can't be here.
Chuck will not be there. We are.
Okay. However, do I need to video in and put my hand up or something, or am I?
You're not.
I will not be able to be
You're not
physically
being sworn.
present at
You're not
this.
being sworn.
I'm not being sworn in.
For the
We
election.
redid it, everybody.
No, just.
It's done, Tony can then swear him in.
Well, no, but he wasn't up for election.
I didn't stand for election this
You
time.
just need to be sworn in.
I just want to make sure.
2 years. Right, it's only the 3 people who won the election. That's it.
And there's other ways you can be sworn in by,
Okay, it's all good. I just wanted to make sure that,
doesn't have to be a formal ceremony, even if you had.
I just want to make sure my absence didn't derail the train. Perfect. Easy, buddy. Easy, buddy.
Because this meeting gets advertised, all other committees are going to remain the same time frame for their meetings, the changes from 7, 7:30, whatever you had said, okay,
Stealing all my thunder, Janet.
I'm sorry,
You're stealing all my thunder. Go ahead.
go ahead.
Well, so that's probably gonna lead us to public comment, and what I want to public comment here is, first I want to welcome Mr. Alden, as well as Mr. Colson to council. Look forward to working with you both. But I do want to take this time and opportunity to thank both Dr. Finello for all of their hard work for the years. But this is what makes our community great, is people putting forth the effort, putting their time in, helping. And I can, how much I appreciate it, not only as president of council, but on a personal level, your commitment to this council, your commitment to this borough.
Thank you, Sal.
Yes.
Go right
Comment?
ahead.
Thank you. First of all, Councilman-elect Colson, had to go because apparently one of our children have a math test.
Okay.
So apparently that was that, or he would have been here. He can speak for himself at the next meeting. Anyway, I just want to say that I moved into I was a longtime Warminster resident. And I know, but like I said, but a longtime Warminster resident. We then had to do our exile to Delco for more than I wanted to because of Councilman-elect Colson, because that's where his job was. But when we wanted to, make our permanent home, we had our starter home down there, but our permanent home, Bucks County is where we wanted to move back to. And we looked at a number of places around the surrounding area. And thank you publicly once again to Debbie Rounds, who found our house and sent it to my father so that we were able to get in before anybody else snatched it away. But, just moved in and just was really minding my own business till Tony and appropriately enough, Ed Olroyd with the park that was, that will be named after him, talked to me, I believe Janet as well, talked to me about joining the Ivyland Heritage Association because there was a need for some folks, to help out with that, and kind of started the journey of me getting in with this group. And then there was an opening on council, and I gladly accepted at the time, not knowing what I would get myself into. But I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that, and it's been very much a part. And while more of my life has been spent as a Warminster resident, I do consider myself an Ivylander now. So, and as I always tell my husband, I'm dying in my home anyway, so hopefully that's many more years from now, so we'll continue to be Ivylanders. But I do consider, even though I do consider Ivyland my home, and I know that now because the couple of people across the way on Bristol Road, which we all know is Ivyland mailing address, will say, "Oh, well, we're Ivyland too." And I kid you not, a few years ago, I looked at them with all the disdain I could muster, and I said, "You are not the borough. We are borough people." So, and I didn't get that because when I first moved into town, I'd hear people say, "Oh, we're the borough." I'm like, "What is this with the borough people?" I'm like, "What is this like?" And now I'm a borough person myself. I'm very proud of it. So, like I said, I'm not really going anywhere. I would have liked to have, continued on council, but for other commitments that I have to our governor and some of the work that will be coming out, in the new year, and my passion around mental health and substance use, I am fortunate to, have that position while it had me give up something that I'm also very passionate about. However, like I said, not going anywhere, so it's not like, you won't hear me. Maybe I'll come speak at public comment. I have no idea at this point, but exactly. So yes, I'm sure there is much, much for me to do in this. But again, I thank you for just letting me have a few minutes to speak, to express my appreciation to all the council members presently that I've served with, but also those in the past. Councilman Severin was brought up today, served with him. My first mate over here before Councilman Pietrowski was Councilman DeGidio, and everybody was always so great to work with. We always just put, as I said earlier, Ivyland's interest above everything else. A lot of boroughs and places and townships sometimes aren't able to do that, but I feel like we have always rised above all of that noise and really did everything that we could for Ivyland Borough. And I know that will continue with our new members on council, and I look forward to, seeing our borough continue to flourish and all those things we need to do. Can't wait for the new roads and all of that. And I'm sure Janet will lead us in how we're going to fund all of said things. So again, thank you, my fellow council people. It's been real, and I will miss it. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess I should say something too. Nah. Yeah, right. I'll keep it a little bit shorter. I'll keep it as short as my term was here, but something I was asked upon to, to join, and I'm glad I did. Thankful for my opportunity here to make a difference in the community, and I hope to stay involved with the Parks and Rec and with all the events in Ivyland and continue those traditions. So if anyone in council needs anything, needs a hand with anything, any kind of committee, I'm welcome to help, and maybe one day I'll be back here.
You're not
But
getting
for
out
now,
of that
thank you,
anytime
everyone.
soon.
Appreciate it.
We'll be leaning on you.
Public comment.
Yes, we actually do.
What do we got?
There's no public comment in the house. Well, we got, the first one was from James McCullough, who said, great to see plans for 1061 and the building to be used again. And Brittany Griffin asked if there was any way to share the rendering of 1061 Greeley. I have a copy of it on my computer at home, and Gears posted that he has one also. So,
Yeah, I could post that.
just throw it up onto the I Grew Up page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can throw it on there.
Take it, either take that one and bring it over, throw mine up on the Ivyland Borough page.
Great.
All right.
Mayor.
Yes. James McCullough.
Oh.
That's it.
All right. Well, wish everyone a safe and happy holiday. We'll see you in the new year. Promptly 6 p.m. January 5th.
You said
6.
We said 6. We said 6. We revised 6. Why I'm saying
6-7.